All right, we are live, and this is Monday Night Live on a Tuesday with the Powerlifting America podcast crew. We're talking all things Powerlifting America, news, updates, current events, roundtable with Julia Williams and Mike Gold. And this week, we're not going to have any special guests. It's been a crazy week. Like Julia and I just came back from North American Championships. I'm currently sitting in the hotel room in Romania. That was a nice friendly reminder right there that I need to turn off all notifications on my computer for a second here. But yeah, so it's Monday Night Live. It's Tuesday night. We're trying to get these done on Mondays, but due to travel schedules and things like this, we're doing it Tuesdays, 2 weeks in a row. Maybe we'll change the name. If you have an idea for a new name, Steve Crane is already in the chat saying you might just want to change it to the Powerlifting America Live podcast. I know, but then we couldn't play the Monday Night Football theme music every time we post the story, which is such good theme music that triggers every single person on a Monday. And eventually in the fall, when we can do this right before a football game start, and then go watch football right afterwards. It'll be a great Monday
We'll
night.
have our weekly segment of our Monday night picks.
Yeah, exactly. We'll pick the Monday Night Football game. Julia looks so excited for that. I know she's a huge American football fan. Favorite team. I think your favorite team is the Kansas City Chiefs, just like me. Yes. Go Kansas City. Let's run it back another Super Bowl. But anyway, it's Monday Night Live on a Tuesday. It's the Powerlifting America podcast crew. We're talking all things Powerlifting America, news, updates, current events, roundtable, Julia Williams, Mike Gold, and special guests. It's Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023. I am sitting in Cluj, Romania, getting ready to kick off the sub-junior and junior world championships coming up here in 2 days. I was actually on a plane today with Gaston Parage, the president of the IPF. He told me that there's over 650 lifters. There's over 55 countries, might be 60 countries. And I think it's like around 654 lifters total, if you want to get an exact number on that. And that is the biggest junior and sub-junior world championships that's ever happened, combined with the classic and equipped, separated from when it used to be ran together with the open and everything like that. So this is cool. Every year it's getting bigger and bigger, and that's awesome. So yeah, we're out here. The things that I want to remind you of before we get into all the heated stuff that we have, we got a lot of fun topics to talk about today. Some pretty funny things happened this week in the world of powerlifting. We'll bring those up. And then, but before we get to that, I want to mention we have all of our national championships for Powerlifting America, all 6 of our national championships. Registration is now live on the event page of our website. I've already put it in the link below in the description of this live YouTube. Whenever I repost the higher quality version of this YouTube from the recorded Zoom, I will post all of the links there as well, all 6 of them. And just to run it down, Bench Press Nationals, January 27, 28 in Austin, Texas. Classic Open Nationals, March 14th through 16, Reno, Nevada. University Nationals will be tacked on to the end of that for one full day on March 17th, also in Reno, Nevada. High School Nationals, April 19 through the 21st. That's in New Orleans, Louisiana. And we have Age Division Nationals, May 17th through the 19th in Austin, Texas. And Equip Nationals at the end of that, again, same place, Austin, Texas, May 19th through 20. So, and with those 2, Age Division Nationals and Equip Nationals, those are going to be the weekend before Bench Press World Championships, which we're also hosting in Austin, Texas. So the setup for those events for the Age Division Nationals, which includes sub-juniors, juniors, and masters, all on the classic side, as well as everyone on the equip side. That competition that was in Scottsdale this year will be in Austin, Texas this year. And it is Austin, Texas next year, I'm saying, and it will be ran right alongside the Bench Press World Championships the weekend right before it. So it'll be the same setup as the World Championship. So it's a great venue. Aleko will be there. Aleko will be doing a barbecue. Aleko is going to be doing a barbecue for like 12 days straight between this competition and the World Championships, the Bench Press World Championship. So it's going to be amazing. There's all kinds of cool stuff set up for that. And then also, don't forget that after all that is said and done, after we go to Classic Open Classic Worlds in Lithuania, the U.S. is going to be hosting the North American Powerlifting Championships in Scottsdale, Arizona. So that is cool. We have two major international meets, a World Championship and the North American Powerlifting Championships on U.S. soil next year in 2024. So that's going to be huge. All right. So that's all the stuff that we're pushing. Just from the top, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us, Powerlifting_America on Instagram. If you subscribe on YouTube, you'll get access to all the stuff that we're going to be doing here in Romania, which will include pregame shows during weigh-ins, each day, and then post competition press conferences at the end of the final session each day. We're going to be doing those all live here on YouTube. If you're following along on Instagram, we'll post the links to all that stuff. We'll also post interviews and all kinds of behind the scenes coverage, all kinds of cool stuff from here in Romania. Since I'm here, Mike Z will also be here running media with me. Luke Mellon will also be helping out. And then, we got our correspondents back home in the US, Mike Gold and Julia Williams, be sending updates, telling me things to look for, maybe popping in, asking questions, maybe doing a Zoom like this once in a while for the pregame shows. You never know what you're going to get, but we're going to push hard. I'm not going to sleep for the next 12 days. So that's how we're going to run it. And last thing I want to pitch, we want to sell out all of our merch. I want to make new designs. We need cooler stuff. We need stuff for the fall, but we got to get rid of the old stuff. So it's good stuff. It's the standard logo. It's the black, it's the gray, it's the green. It's a couple different versions of the hat. Get that stuff from the Powerlifting America store. The link is also below, and show your support for the team. Rock that Powerlifting America stuff wherever you go. Shout out to Nimisha Mita. I saw her. She was at like some kind of fitness expo this weekend. She was running around Powerlifting America on her shirt everywhere. I love that. It's great to see. Next time I'm at a meet with you, Nimisha, I'll bring you a hat. I'll bring you another shirt, something like that, because you're representing the squad. You're showing love for Powerlifting America when you're out there, and do that. Tag us in your stories. We'll repost it.
Speaking of the Powerlifting America merch, I was actually wearing my Powerlifting America shirt in the airport the other day.
Yeah.
And I had somebody randomly come over to me and like, oh, what is that? What's the International Powerlifting Federation? Because it says a U.S. affiliate of the started asking me questions. It was very interesting. Like, I've obviously seen powerlifters like at airports, like when you're going to a powerlifting meet, like by nationals or worlds. But this was just a random airport. I think it was in the Chicago airport. I forget which one it was, but it was funny.
That's crazy. You've been traveling kind of a lot, but wear your Powerlifting America shirt wherever you are. Post up a story with it. Tag us in it. We'll repost it. We want to sell off this merch. We're going to always keep those OG designs, but we're going to make some really cool new ones. We're going to get the Shield logo going. And yeah, we might do some giveaways and things once we get that new merch up. So help us get rid of that stuff. And, it's for a good cause. Support the team, show your team spirit. All right. NAPF, couple of things I want to mention that I didn't get to talk about last week really fast. So first of all, NAPF was amazing. It was the biggest NAPF ever. It was all kinds of superstars were there. It was great. We're still posting content from it. I'm sharing all the footage with the athletes. They're going to be posting more content from it as well. But it's going to be even bigger next year in Scottsdale. So make sure you mark your calendar with as competitive as Powerlifting America Nationals is going to be this year. It's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to make it on the world's team. They still want to go break world records. They still want to go put up a total like Jonathan Garcia did, throw his name into the hat for possibly Sheffield considerations, possibly have the highest total in the 66s on the year. He finished just short of that with 703. He didn't quite go over 705, but that's the kind of thing you can do. You can break world records. You can put your name on the mat like Calf we did, for Canada. And a couple people I want to mention. Joa Ayanada, she broke a world record. We didn't mention her at all last week. She kicked ass. And Alexa Spersky, she also kicked ass really hard last week. I think she swept with all 4 gold medals. Julia, you want to mention either of those two? Because I know you're working on an NAPF recap article. There's a lot that goes into it. There's 104 athletes. We want to cover everyone, all the different things that happen. So it's going to take a minute to get it posted. But Julia, go ahead and hit on that for us.
Yeah. So Joa broke a bench world record. Amazingly strong lifter. She was in a really tight battle, and it was really fun to watch. Those kind of those lifts are all, big lifts are always compelling, but when it's in the context of a battle, that makes it even more exciting. And there were a lot of battles there. Other lifters who broke world records, off the top of my head, I believe Lillian set a bench world record in the M2s, and Melissa Copeland got a redemption and got that squat world record in the M1s. And then, yeah, as you said, Alexa swept. A few lifters swept, and that's a very, very hard thing to do because there were a lot of competitive athletes this year. And, to be able to win a gold medal in each lift really shows how complete of a lifter you are. That's not to discount someone who has like an amazing deadlift or anything, but it does say a lot about how well-rounded you are. So it's an amazing accomplishment, and it's an interesting thing to track just on top of, total gold medals.
Yeah, there were a lot of world records. Julia's got them all mapped out. We're going to post an article on that. We'll post pictures and everything along with the article, like we did with the NAPF preview article. But before we post that, we're going to post the junior and sub junior world championships preview, because that's coming up in 2 days. So in the next 24 hours, we'll have that up. So you'll know everything that you need to watch for the junior and sub junior world championships. And we'll post that on our Instagram story, Powerlifting_America, and we'll link it. It'll be on the website as well. Also, we dropped a podcast with Chelsea Inamore. She's one of the 84 plus. She's one of the 84 plus sub junior superstars that's going to be competing here in the World Championships. I did an interview with her. She's amazing, super smart. She gives all kinds of analysis about the World Championships in Malta. She breaks down Luella's performance even at the North American Championships, the girl that she'll be going against here at the World Championships in Romania. And so it's a great episode. Go check that out for sure. I'll make sure to post a link. It's already in the sub junior and junior worlds playlist that has everything you need for sub junior and junior. Everything we've ever done with them on YouTube is all in that playlist on YouTube. So go find that. All right. Next, what do you guys want to talk about next? Let's get into the current events of the week. So first thing first, King of Lifts has done, basically we're a recap show for King of the Lifts, where we're gonna recap. King of the Lifts is the newsmaker. They dropped the best sound bites. They got the best interviews. So we're gonna always, especially when our athletes or when something related to Powerlifting America is on there, we're gonna recap it on here. So for the junior and sub junior world championships, Joe Whiteley went on with Ryan, and they broke down all the highlights of the juniors. And it was mostly all just the classic juniors. So what we're going to do is, with the article that Julia is writing, that we're all actually working on and researching for, we're going to break down all of the categories, not just the juniors, but also the sub juniors, and not just classic, but also the equip side. But in those episodes, Joe Whiteley made a really good point about open powerlifting. And I want to say it here because in the link of every single YouTube episode that we have since like one of our first maybe 3-4 interviews that we did, I've put the link to support open powerlifting on our podcast and on our YouTube, because it's really important. And she's making a plea for help here. They don't have enough help. So go out there and do something. At least if you don't want to do something with open powerlifting, donate some money to it, so that they can hire people, so that they can upgrade their systems and things like this. But Joe Whiteley is an absolute hero. She was talking in this episode. I mean, she does so many things. She has a real job. She does commentary. She does IPF social media. She writes articles for Barben. And she mentioned in this episode that every day she wakes up and checks in on open powerlifting and handles some business with open powerlifting every single day. I mean, that's dedication. We need more people like that. She's a hero. Joe Whiteley for president. President of America, the country, not the federation. And hats off to Joe, and hats off to Ryan. And hats off. Yeah, I don't care. She's doing God's work. We need open powerlifting. We use open powerlifting on this podcast, on every podcast out there. They're all using open powerlifting. I can't even basically get through my day without having to pull up open powerlifting like 3-4 times. All right, so I've donated. I'm going to make another. I got a recurring donation, I think, going. If I don't, I'm going to double check. I'm going to get that. I've definitely donated in the past where I think I got a recurring donation going with them. But everyone go out and do it. We've got the link in all of these YouTubes. So there's no excuse for that. And she's making a case also, if you're good with technology, spreadsheets, things like this, volunteer for your Fed to help them out. Put it in a format. She's talking about getting results in a PDF. And it's like, a federation or someone from a federation sends the final results in a PDF. You can't do anything with a PDF. You know how hard that is? Julia, we know how hard that is, because what do we get from the North American Powerlifting Championships?
Oh my God.
We got a PDF. And that's partially why our recap article is taking so long, because we got a PDF, and eventually I did get the spreadsheet, and we're going to, and now it's going to make it a lot easier for us to break things down and double check our math and do all kinds of stuff. But if you're out there and you're running meets, or you're in a federation, you want to do something that's, honestly, this shouldn't be that hard to get a spreadsheet and submit it to open powerlifting. So just someone, please, if you're in your Fed, or don't complain if no one's out there doing it. And because they're going to continue to get the results up quickly for federations like ours, where we use Lifting Cast and Open Lifter, and you can just boom, upload it quickly. So, all right. Anyway, you guys have any other things you want to say about Joe Whiteley and the saint that she is?
I don't actually know her personally. I mean, I've met her before.
You met her in Malta
She
at least, right? And
Yeah,
Turkey.
yeah. So she is the I guess I would say the ultimate powerlifting nerd. Like she's
Yes.
my mentor.
Yes, she's all of ours. Julia?
Yeah, she's a great writer too. She writes for Barbend. I think you mentioned that, and does commentary as well. That it's just really professional. It's really well done. She knows everything. I mean, about every lifter. It's insane. I don't
Yeah.
know if she just like things work differently for her and she just has 30 hours in the day and we only have 24 or what, but it's phenomenal. So
She's just
yeah.
a real adult. Like she handles business. She's a real pro. So anyway, hats off to her. And if you see her ever, like I'm gonna see her here at these world championships. I think she'll be here. Just gonna go buy her a beer or something. All right. Next current events topic that is trending. And by trending, I mean 2 million views on Instagram. And that is Lila Cooper. She's a sub junior equipped lifter, and we made a recap reel for her from the North American Powerlifting Championships, and it has absolutely blown up this week. In a matter of the last 24 hours ish, it's got like something like 1.5 million views. It was sitting at like 400,000 or something. All of a sudden, all these haters started coming in and leaving comments. And I noticed the account is blowing up with comments from a bunch of haters. But guess who's laughing all the way to the bank? Lila Cooper. Because now her reel is the second highest viewed reel in history of Powerlifting America. Only Joy's Fitness, Joy Reinfleisch, who's here, who will be here competing in Romania. Maybe she can get a reel going this week that can top it. But right now, Lila is a front runner since Joy's recap reel from Scottsdale. So way to go, Lila. Just tune out the haters. Like we said, forget about them. They don't know what they're talking about. It's a bunch of loser scrubs, and don't worry about them. You know you're a superstar, and she knows. I've been DMing with her the whole time. She's laughing at all their comments. It's funny. It sucks that women get treated like this on social media. It's horrible, but hopefully, and in this case, she has super thick skin, and in the end, she's just excited that her reel's blowing up like this. It's amazing. Julia, you have anything you want to add to this? Because I know you reposted about it this week.
Yeah, so I think it's great, one, that she's getting all these views just as a female lifter. I think that that's phenomenal, but also as an equipped lifter. In the powerlifting community, especially, right now, there's it's kind of like in fashion to hate on equipped lifting, but it turns out people outside the community just want to see big weights lifted. And I think that is that's being shown here. So I'm really happy about this. Equip lifting is not dead. And yeah, that's my take. I know Mike might not agree with me. So
Go ahead. Mike Gold, what do you
No,
think?
first off, I think it's amazing that this reel has 2 million views. I actually, when I forgot who I initially saw that posted about it, but I actually couldn't find the reel initially. Because I thought it was like the most recent one of the most recent reels, but it wasn't. So I went back and found it. But yeah, 2 million views is pretty crazy. I don't know what you said. Joy's the one that had the most. How many views was that?
It was like 4.6 million or something, almost
It's
5.
that's hard to break. But
Yeah, it's a hard one.
But yeah, no, I mean, equipped isn't dead. It hasn't grown with raw. It's stagnant. So, I mean, if 2 million people are seeing this, so that means a high percentage of those have a high percentage have no idea what powerlifting is. But even the ones that do know what powerlifting is, a lot of them don't know what equipped powerlifting is. So it's definitely interesting. I haven't read through the comments yet. I might have to sit down with some popcorn and read.
The
brace
comments,
yourself.
yeah, like any woman on social media, the comments are horrific. At least they're mostly just about her lifts. They're not like about her, like her physical appearance or anything like this. But I mean, it's crazy too that they're saying that she's like, some of the comments are like, oh, like, typical stuff like no lift was completed, or like these are all like,
Oh yeah,
or these aren't very big lifts or whatever. But listen, this is a 57 kilo sub junior. I think she's like 17. I think she's 17 or 16. I think she's 17 years old. she's squatting 325 pounds. She benches 143. She went for 159 and usually hits it in training, but missed it. And then she deadlifted 303 pounds. I mean, for 57 kilo, like 16, 17-year-old girl, these are awesome numbers for Lila. And she has a great personality. She puts herself out there. If you go to the NAPF highlight on our profile, there's some interviews I did with her in between disciplines and after. And she's just a young superstar. And that's what Equip needs. Equip needs people like Lila Cooper, because she could be the Joy's Fitness of Equipped, you know, in the future. And, you know, and Joy has inspired. Lila is a big fan of Joy. Joy, if you listen to this and you're not already following Lila, which I think you already are, give her a follow, because she loves you. And so does everyone, honestly. But yeah, super cool. I'm happy for her. And again, it sucks that it's these negative comments that drive these numbers like this. But at least I think most powerlifters know that, like, they don't really care when people criticize their bench arch. You know what I mean? It's like, we're just laughing at these losers
who cares what non-powerlifters say? I mean, with the exception of Gaston, he cares what non-powerlifters say. But in general, like, if they're watching, that's good. You want them to watch. That's what matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as bad publicity. You have 2 million people that just saw your reel. That means I'm sure, even with all the haters, a lot of people probably saw it and liked it. She probably got followers. She's gonna get interactions. I don't know. I'm saying, yeah, it sucks.
Such a
all the negative comments, but
these are the people who are leaving these comments are the same people who will watch Jamal pull 1,100 pounds and be like, oh, it's sumo, oh, you use straps, like that kind of stuff, while they can't even pull 405 and they've never entered a competition and they never will. So it's unimportant, but we may as well, you know, profit from it. So
yeah, agreed. I mean, it has 18,000 likes. 18,000 likes on this post. So I mean, the vast majority of people are all here for you, Lila. Also, the story of that competition, 57 kilo, she was going up against Brooklyn Mazuka, who beat her on body weight at high school nationals. And she came out and she loaded up this, I think it was a second deadlift, and they both missed their third. And after she pulled her second deadlift, Lila got super emotional, because I think she knew that she didn't have a lot left in the tank, and she could just see this happening to her all over again, where she lost on body weight. Brooklyn Mazuka came out and beat her on her last deadlift at high school nationals in Scranton. And this time, though, Brooklyn also missed and Lila won. And so just a cool redemption story. The two of them are both badass. We got to mention Brooklyn. She's also a badass as well. I can't wait to see the rivalry of these girls as they grow up and, you know, move into the open and become the next superstars on the Equip side, like, you know, Kimmy Johnson and all of our superstars over there. So anyway, it's going to be cool. Kelsey McCarthy and Taylor LaChapelle. Those are our current, like, ultra badass superstar women. And I think we're seeing the future of them here on the NAPF team. And how cool to do it at the North American Powerlifting Championships on the international platform. So anyway, hats off to you, Lila. We love you. You're a badass. You're awesome. And yeah, so all right, next, let's keep it moving. That was a good, positive, uplifting story. Powerlifting America. We're getting 2 million views on an Equipped sub junior. That's crazy. No one would have thought that would have been possible. In fact, the guys, the Equipped coaches were asking me, do something to make Equipped pop off. And I didn't do shit. I made the reel. I posted it. The haters did it for us. Lila did it for us with their badass lifting, and she promoted the reel as well. So really good. All right. Anyway, next topic, a spicy one. The next generation of Equipped lifting. Jordan Coomer saying in the chat. All right. This one is controversial. Okay. And it brings us into a topic that we've been wanting to talk about for a while, and that is supplements. But I'm going to open it with a question. I'm going to open the conversation with a question. And with this question, I think you might know what I'm referring to. But the question is, who the fuck is from New Jersey? Mike Gold, who's from New Jersey?
Absolutely nobody. But
absolutely nobody.
But in all seriousness, so in some recent events, right, there was recently whole drama, which resulted in an IG live between Kevin Papa from 110 and some, I don't know, kid from some supplement company I never heard of, where the kid ripped off his formula and started selling his own pre-workout, which whatever, it's always going to happen in the industry. That in itself wouldn't make for so much drama. But then the kid did what you never do, which is when you cheat or when you copy something, you try to keep it on the down low. You don't go on social media and say, I'll debate you on the topic. Because when you don't know what you're talking about, and then you debate it with somebody who does know what they're talking about, it usually doesn't end up well. So, I mean, you can check it out and watch it. It's like a long video if you want. But the reason why we're bringing this up is not just because of the individual drama here, right? There's tons of supplement companies out there. We don't specifically care for individual ones. But the point is supplements, which is something that is used by most people in the gym and powerlifters especially. They can be pretty important. Like I would say most people are taking pre-workout. That's like the most basic one. And wherever you get it from, that's your choice. But make sure you're buying from companies that are third-party tested, have it on the label. Because if not, you can get popped. We meant to discuss this. I don't even remember exactly how long ago it was,
we've meant to discuss this damn near every week, and it keeps getting bumped to the next week.
Right. It started, it was like 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't already know this, around 2 months ago, I don't know the exact dates now, I could be wrong, but around 2 months ago, there was news that Chandler Babb had been suspended. Now, nobody knows the full story, but what it seems is, at least what she says, is that there was something in her pre-workout which was a banned substance. And since she was in, I believe, was it the Caribbean for medical school?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Caribbean. So she didn't have access to everything that you would necessarily have if you're in your home country, which you can just go to either your local like supplement shop or just get it on Amazon. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you could still order on Amazon to the Caribbean, but either way, that's not the point. The point is, so she didn't just randomly take something. What she did was she went through the ingredient list and she made sure that each of the individual ingredients were not on any banned lists, not on the, like WADA has a list of things that are banned, right? So obviously there's like products that are banned, but there's also like individual ingredients. So you have to be careful when you're taking any supplement or really anything. Like, I mean, it could be in the simple energy drinks. It could be in anything.
It could be in protein. It can be any supplement.
Yeah. It could be in any, meaning, and obviously you're more likely to have it in some sort of like thing like pre-workout that has a lot of ingredients, especially for a lot of people don't really know what most of the ingredients are. I forget what they do, but just what they are. But anything that is like made in a warehouse that makes like supplements or anything like that can also be tainted, which is why it's not good enough to just check the ingredients. You have to, if you are a competitive powerlifter, a competitive athlete, there's no excuse not to be buying from third-party tested brands. There's many of them. I'm saying we're not going to list them all now, but there are plenty of brands that are third-party tested. They'll have it on the label. Buy from them. That's the basic outline.
Yeah, go ahead, Julia.
Also, she made a post about this, and there were a lot of people in her comments who were, suddenly, biochemistry PhDs. Some of these ingredients on the label, there's many different names of them, and sometimes they're, only slightly changed, and it's very, very hard to figure out if something is banned or if it's, getting around a ban or not. And so you can always go on the WADA website and look up things. I would look up I would look up the thing online and see if there's any other names of it and look up all of those on the WADA website, just to make sure. And don't take something if you're in doubt. I mean, you can just, you can take coffee, you can just drink coffee, you can buy something off bulk supplements and, or any supplement store that sells wholesale and make your own, that's third party tested, like Mike said. And that's the real solution here. I would move though to maybe have WADA, put out a little more information on the substances that are in their banned substance list. I think that would be a good idea. A few people suggested that when this actually happened. I think that might take a lot of work, but we don't want people getting popped. And I think that, especially if it's something like a pre-workout where they're not even trying to gain an unfair advantage. So that might be something to push for in terms of, WADA putting out a little more information on this type of stuff. But beyond that, when I was in the Cayman Islands, there was a supplement table there. And even the people at the supplement table, most of those products were third-party tested, but I think there was one where someone had taken it not entirely related, like it wasn't, this didn't take place in the Cayman Islands, but someone took that supplement and received a 6-month ban because there was something in it that was a banned substance, and they didn't know that. So even if a company has their supplements at a tested powerlifting meet, that doesn't mean that they're, necessarily okay to take. As you've seen by this example with Kevin Papa and this kid, anyone can pretty much make a supplement line, and you have no idea what's in it unless it's tested. So, don't get popped for something stupid, please.
Yeah, I think it's really important. We're here on the eve of the sub junior and junior world championships. And I think this is the demographic that is the least experienced with this kind of thing. So Chelsea Inamore, shout out to the Powerlifting America podcast episode that we did with her. That's dropped. You can go listen to it. She mentioned that she's not doing anything. She's not doing any pre-workouts. She's not doing any of that stuff because she doesn't know. She doesn't need it. First of all, she's young. She's energetic. She doesn't need a pre-workout. She doesn't need caffeine. She doesn't even drink coffee. But on top of that, she's like, I'm not putting just anything in my body that I don't know what it is. And like these 17-year-old kids are smarter than you think. She is super, super smart. Definitely go listen to that interview. But I mean, I can't believe how smart these kids are. Mike, goddamn, I was dumb at 17 compared to these kids. But she's like going to be a med student or whatever, super smart in science and all this stuff. But listen, there's a shortcut way to do this. Chandler, she looked up every single ingredient. And the thing was that they had labeled something, a different ingredient that it's like a different form of the same thing that is on the banned substance list. She put out a lot of information about this. It's a big call for awareness about overall supplements. My thing, if I were taking supplements, I would probably look at what someone like Keiko is taking, because we know that man's been tested 1 billion times with blood, and I would look at something that a lifter that is tested over and over and over and over and over again, that's been there, like Taylor Atwood. Taylor Atwood's getting tested over and over and over again. He's never missing a test. He's never failing a test. So if you're going to take a shortcut, follow those trusted leaders in our sport. Doesn't mean use whatever your favorite influencer is using, because there's people out there going to world championships who are using all different kinds of supplements. Every other week, they're trying something different. Don't go with those. Go with the people that are tried and true, who've been tested over and over and over again, and that continue to pass. And that would be my 2 cents on that. Mike, you got something else you want to add to this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little late, but I mean, as somebody who doesn't mind saying what they want to say, I find this a little curious. So we mentioned the comments, so I'm just going to get to the point, which is that I have no idea what happened here. I don't know if what she's saying is true. I don't know that. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. I just find it very weird that, like, on this post specifically, the comments were overwhelmingly positive, like, oh, it sucks this happened, whatever. I mean, I just know that in all the big failures like that I remember, it was very different. So now obviously not all are the same, right? For example, I would say the biggest one I remember was when Kelly Breton popped for everything and blamed it on his Canadian protein. Now, in that scenario, obviously I don't have proof it wasn't his Canadian protein, but I would say with like 99% confidence that his Canadian protein didn't have like 5 different like oral steroids and SARMs and whatever. So in that scenario, I think it's pretty easy to not believe him. But there have also been other situations, like the most recent one before this was the Anna Rosa Castellane one, where it wasn't the same thing as here. And there, the reaction was exactly the opposite. It was, you didn't see a lot of lifters being like, oh, wow, it sucks, this happens, blah, blah, blah. It was more like, oh, you're a cheater or whatever. And like from a ton of people. And you know what? Honestly, I don't really care. I don't care the lifters. Nobody cares what some random say, because the bottom line is they're just going to believe what they want to believe. It's the same people who will say like, oh, there's no way XYZ, Ross, Jesus, whatever. There's no way they're natty because they do something that you don't think is possible.
The same one that's commenting on Lila Cooper's post.
Yeah. Or there's like a couple of like these trolls that I actually recognize, because like I see them in comment sections all the time being like, do that naturally now. Like there's like I recognize the names, even like trolls. Like I see them like, oh, okay. But I'm talking about more like high level lifters that the reactions were very different between the two. So I just find it a little strange, because like Anna Rosa also, like, it wasn't like she was like this up and coming lifter who had just like popped off and then like it failed the test. Like she had been at the top level for a decade and she hadn't failed any other tests. So
tested a bunch of times.
I find it, tested tons of times, been at world championships. I don't know how many times, but like maybe like 7 or 8 times, podiuming at a lot of them, like in the IPF Hall of Fame. So I find it, I would say a little hypocritical, honestly, reaction, but whatever. I was just
okay. Mike, given his hot take like months later, when the whole topic.
Well, I wanted to give this take 2 months ago.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think the thing is like Chandler's story was very convincing. Like she walked through all of the ingredients. She had gone through, and there was clearly something.
Let me
just finish real quick. There was clearly one thing on the supplement, that on the pre-workout that she was taking, that was on the banned substance list in a different formulation, like under a different name, and she found it, and that's what it was. I don't know the details. I don't know enough about drug testing to know, like, was it a stimulant? What was it exactly? I know it wasn't like testosterone, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like, you know, what you would consider like steroids, but it's on the banned substance list, so it is what it is. But anyway, go ahead, Mike.
No, but I want to clarify. My hot take has nothing to do with the individual lifter. I am by no means saying that Chandler Babb took anything. Not at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's just weird. Like sometimes reactions are very strange. Like, to give an example for people who like have some sports knowledge, but maybe not powerlifting, like there are certain people, for example, like David Ortiz, who failed a drug test, yet for some reason everybody loves him and thinks nothing happened. And then you have other people like Barry Bonds, who never actually failed a test. Barry Bonds was on a list. He never failed a single test. He played before he was actually even banned. Yet he's hated by everybody. He's not in the Hall of Fame, even though he's probably the best baseball player of all time. So I like consistency. So I think it's everybody.
I agree with the public.
It's everybody's duty.
Forever. And Barry Bonds. No, I'm just joking. I don't really care about baseball.
Okay, wait.
He got blackballed. His last season in baseball, he was one of the best hitters in baseball, and no team signed him. He literally got blackballed.
I'm 100% joking. I honestly don't care about baseball, but I think everyone should be shown some grace. But go, Julia.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think that there's very obvious reason why this happened, and we can also look at the Jesse Norris situation to see kind of more evidence of that, and that is because it wasn't an anabolic substance. And I think that, you know, this does happen with, like, it just goes back to the Kevin Papa thing, where anyone can make a pre-workout. These things are in there. There's a million different names for them. You know, it's more than likely an honest mistake. The advantage you gain from some of these things, it might be a little bit, but it's very temporary, if at all. And it's just not the same as somebody, you know, getting popped for nandrolone or testosterone. It's just like a completely different thing, where you don't usually like trip and fall onto a syringe, you know, like it's very different. So, I mean, I think that that's part of the reason. You know, I also think, you know, Chandler is a very, she's a likable person too. I mean, and I do think that has to do with it. And I think, you know, if you go making enemies, you know, people are going to be to be less tolerant of you in your mistakes. But I think that this is genuinely just people view being popped for a pre-workout very, very differently, or being popped for a stimulant very differently than they do anabolic steroids, and to be honest, rightfully so.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole thing is everyone could be in this situation. Like you don't know, like you taking, I mean, unless you're not taking any supplements at all, if even if it says it's third party tested or whatever, there's still some chance that it gets tainted some way, somehow, something happens. It's just one of these things of like, I think you got to really reserve judgment. And if you know the person, then you know them. And I think a lot of people knew Chandler. She had just been to Sheffield. She had just been to the World Championships, just won the 69 World Championships. Anna is from Brazil, which is not a major powerlifting powerhouse country. They don't have as big a fanfare. So Anna, and I don't know what she popped for either. Maybe that was a part of the reason, was that she popped for something else. I know I was sad when I heard Anna Rosa Castellane pop, because she's like a hero. She's like one of the queens of the sport, her battles with Kimberly Walford and stuff, like epic stuff in the past. So it's sad. I think we should always show people some grace with this stuff. Don't just assume that like they're, guilty until proven innocent. I mean, it's just a WADA test. There's all kinds of flaws. There can be problems. I mean, it's a tough situation. And like Tristan saying in the chat, the supplement industry is part of the powerlifting that makes me the most nervous, to be honest. And it's true. It really does. And when I see when I go around in the warm-up room, especially like at high school nationals, and these kids have these pre-workouts with these crazy ass names, shit I've never heard of, like psycho animation on the packaging and stuff. I'm just like, that just looks like drugs. Like it just can't be legit. Like it just looks like a company that's just totally, phony baloney. And that's what this Kevin Papa thing really hit up this week. Anyone can make these supplements, and you don't know what's in them. So just be super cautious, especially the juniors and sub juniors. Also the IPF, and in the wake of Chandler's drug test failure, they posted an article about this. It's on the IPF website. You can go check it out. There's all kinds of things that you can do to look up the ingredients, like we're talking about. If you just need caffeine, you can just buy caffeine from bulk supplements or someplace like that, and it's probably less chance it's going to get tainted than if you're taking something that has like unicorn, fairy dust, proprietary blend. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna be watch out for a proprietary blend. That's a definite red flag. But anyway, we've beat this dead horse enough. Anything you guys want to say? I just want to say, like, I know that Kevin Papa thing went viral this week. That's just wild, man. Like who's going to jump on a debate on Instagram live like this? Like what world are we living in now? Like you're just going to walk face first into something like that on Instagram live. Like it was crazy. So, I mean, hats off to both of them to be honest, it was entertaining. So I would love for like Mike Gold go live and debate someone this week and just be calling them out and shit. Like it was good entertainment, but man, it really did just make me cringe about the whole supplement industry. And I do want Powerlifting America to get a supplement sponsor. So if you're out there and you're a legit company, come to us. We need a supplement sponsor. So let's get that going, because we need a pre-workout that works and that is also not going to get our lifters popped at Worlds. Like we need that, and we need a company that can come to the table and be like, yo, we have this, we can guarantee your lifters aren't going to get popped from this. So that would be great to have. But anyway, supplement industry is crazy. I don't know enough about it, but I like Chelsea Enamore's advice. Listen to her podcast if you want the secrets of how to be a beast. All right, let's keep it moving. Mike, you guys have any final thoughts on that? You want to keep it moving?
Yeah, I don't have any final thoughts other than, that debate was really the Dunning-Kruger effect in action there. So
let's not get sued by anybody and call anyone out, but that shit was crazy. I think we can definitely say that. My Gold?
I'm good.
Okay. And just so people know, when I was saying who the fuck is from New Jersey, that was a quote from the kid in the thing. He was calling out Kevin by basically saying, you're from New Jersey. who's from New Jersey. Like that was his argument. So if you didn't get the reference,
To be honest, I think it was his most coherent argument of the conversation.
oh boy, we got a good laugh out of this. All right, so I am going to next up. I'm going to share my screen here. More from the King of the Lifts recap podcast, which is the Monday Night Live. Let's run this real quick. I'm going to turn my mic in here. You guys let me know if you can hear it properly. My mic is holding on by a thread here, but I'm going to move it in and push play.
2023. How many people now show up with camera teams? Like at Sheffield, Taylor had people bring people to follow them, record the moment, and how many people now have YouTube channels where you have your own videographers? Like Delaney, Taylor, they have Sierra, who's phenomenal, but a lot of people have people they bring in, and now it's more common. And this is how you get sponsorships. This is how you sell merch. This is how you do your thing.
Especially in a sport like powerlifting, where it's mainly self-funded. Like you need to advertise yourself in order to get those sponsors to help fund your trips and whatnot. The other thing I really like is I love how Powerlifting America is doing the athlete interviews at international meets. Like I absolutely love those. I want to see more nations do it. I want the CPU to start doing that. Like honestly, I would be totally cool if the CPU raises everyone's fee, let's say $10. Like I don't know how many members we have, but let's say we raise every $10 from every start doing like media stuff like that on the bigger screen. Just so it starts adding more legitimacy to your federation and the sport too.
The thing is, for Powerlifting America, they have so many lifters who are going to Worlds that are for really real contending. Whereas for Canada, obviously like our 83s are strong and just won a medal, and there'd be high expectations for yourself as well. Should you be going in 2024, whoever ends up, whatever how this all shakes up. And there'll be like Jess and whoever the heck.
Yeah.
But there isn't going to be I think some of the members might be like, how much are you raising our fees for like 3 people? Whereas Powerlifting America is like, every single one of our people are medal contenders, and the amount of digital content and assets. So I don't know. You make a good point though. However, you could battle back and say, yeah, turn those 3 contenders into 8. How do we do that? We need to start.
But it also makes it more motivating for people to get there. Like, let's look what's happening at the top of our sports. I feel like sometimes you got to make those investments to show people like what it can look like. And I feel it'll be more motivating for lifters being like, I want to get to this point. I want to be that athlete who's having these like high production interviews who's, it looks cool. Like simply said.
Well, I mean, Russ came on here and Russ said, that's one of the main reasons I came on. It's just the amount of, work the media team put in for Powerlifting America. Same with Petrie. He's like some of the work, not like just Powerlifting America. IPF does those interviews as well, and SBD and blah, 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 right? There's a lot of people at Worlds, but however, on the federation level, they could step up. If all the national federations could, not everyone's got the money, but.
Right. There's so many smaller federations, which it just wouldn't be feasible. But if you start getting more and more, it just makes it easier for more to do it.
And it is a good point to make where, okay, I got you. We don't have a lot of people contending necessarily. Well, we got a handful of people.
We're getting more. Like Canada's getting more competitive on the stage. Like it's happening slowly. We're getting there.
Because I remember Steph in the 52s when you were there at Worlds. She medaled for Canada. Obviously, Marie T won. Bittner's won. Like we've had like winners. Bittner's won a couple. Like we've had. And Nick obviously got a bronze. Like we've had some medal.
We had another Brittany. How do you say that?
Brittany Schlater, yeah, thank you. Brittany Schlater in the 84 plus, world champion. I mean, we've it's there, but yeah, to build it's like the old expression: it costs money to make money.
Exactly.
So if you just sit back and be like, I don't think we're there yet. It's like, well, how do we get there though?
100%. We gotta move investments to get our country up there.
It's like a casting call to recruit. make people excited to want to powerlift. Yeah. What do you think about the NAPS?
All right. So first off the top from that, shout out Kafui, man. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning our name. Got to meet him, got to see him absolutely boss up at the North American Powerlifting Championships. It was awesome to see. And I'm glad that he appreciates it. And I'm glad also Ryan Lapidat mentions, that we played the clip before on one of the episodes, Monday Night Live, not the band episode, but the one right after that, I think, from Russ, where he basically said, it was a big part of why he's coming over. He likes what we're doing with the post-meet press conferences, things like this. The pushback I would say, though, on what Ryan was talking about is I think you got to do it for every lifter. I think you got to make it standard in the sport. I mean, you see press conferences in all other sports. They don't just interview Patrick Mahomes. Like I was watching all the press conferences that they were doing for the for all the training camp stuff. They interview everybody, like random mix of athletes, and I think it's especially nice to spotlight athletes that don't always get the shine or can't create their own shine because they already have their own social media channels and things like this as well. So I think there's no reason why you can't do it for basically everyone, especially if you make it onto an international team. Like in our case, if you make it onto U.S. national team, boom, I think you've earned it, the right to get like an interview or a press conference, especially at the World Championships. NAPF was tough. We had 104 athletes. We couldn't interview every single person. Just logistically, it's impossible to do it in 5 days. But Mike Gold, I can see you want to say something. What do you want to add?
Yeah. So, I mean, I listened to that whole podcast. I think part of the point Caffrey was making is that when what you just said, if you make it onto the U.S. national team, like you deserve to be interviewed, everyone should hear you. What he was saying is that, which is true, is that the U.S., especially in the open, but so we have a very dominant team. So it's possible we could lose a team at some point, but at the moment, every single one of the lifters who makes it to the U.S. team not only is deserving, but like legitimately is already like competitive for a medal. So he was saying that like inherently when you make it to the team, a lot of them will be already superstars just in their own right. But even the ones who aren't are like legitimately like competitive where they have the numbers to be superstars. They just might not have specifically like popped off on social media, or maybe they don't give it as much attention. Saying it's a little harder, like for them, he was referring to the CPU where like, even when they nominate a full team, like half the team is going to be, let's say in the B flight or whatever, and people are going to care a little bit less. I agree with you. I don't think that means that they shouldn't be getting interviewed and they shouldn't be, I agree. We should interview everyone and we should give everyone like their time and attention. It's just, it would be more difficult. Like you said, like at the NAPF, it's more difficult when you have just a big, like a range of lifters. It's harder to get, not that they're not deserving, it's just harder to get the viewers' attention. Like you said, like in like training camp, they're interviewing everyone, but the bottom line is like the interviews that people watch, they watch the Mahomes interview, they watch the Kelsey interview.
Mahomes gets reposted.
They repost the Chandler Jones interview. Like that's what they're reposting. Like they don't really repost like the backup safety who's fighting for his spot. Well, okay.
Yeah.
They
don't repost it unless they say something crazy. Unless they say something crazy,
right? You got to say something out of pocket.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, we should do it for everyone. It's just it's hard. That's
to the extent that it's feasible. I think you should. One issue they brought up was like money. We don't have the money. We don't have the resources. It just takes like no one really put up the money for us to do it in Austin. It was an idea that Mike Zawolinsky and I had, and we had extra banners. We threw it in the room. I had some lights. Mike bought some mics and whatnot. The rest is history. It just takes effort. That's what it takes. And we were there. I mean, I would have been also not just press conferences. Like that's something that's obviously very important. And that's definitely the thing that caught Russ's eye. But just like we already talked about the Lila Cooper 2 million views on the reel that we made from the footage that I shot when I was there at the North American Championships, little things like that. It's like, that doesn't take a lot. Canada had people there, You just got to put a cell phone and walk around and film stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, that's basically how it started with me, with everything I've done with Powerlifting America, just showing up with a camera, making shit happen, you know? And then slowly like, okay, now we see this is good. Let's put a little more budget in it. Let's get like, you know, some nice microphones and whatnot, and like some lighting equipment. I mean, our whole setup is probably like $1,000, you know? But anyway, Julia, I know you had a lot of thoughts. This is like kind of your topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, money is a powerful motivator, and you can charge more and you can hire professionals. But if you have the passion to do this, just do it. I mean, some of the people who are now stars were, you know, maybe not as big of stars before Powerlifting America, and Powerlifting America, you know, helped them become bigger stars. So, you know, there's that aspect too. I mean, you promote the athletes, the athletes become bigger, they promote you, and it's good things all around. You're drawing attention to your federation. People who don't, you know, follow powerlifting might see this stuff. The more content that's produced, the more you introduce these people. And, you know, it doesn't need to be Russ, like with the Lila Cooper example. You know, it doesn't need to be Russ, because people from outside don't necessarily know that. You know, they don't know who the big stars are, and they're not just going to listen to the big stars because they don't really partake in a cult following of any specific powerlifter. And so that's what's important. I mean, you know, going back to Joe Whiteley here, she made open powerlifting. This was a nonprofit idea. You know, they survive off of donations. She just had the passion for it, and she knew that something was missing, and so she helped create this. And that's how it has to start, because if you're just going to wait for somebody to throw money at something without producing anything, without producing results, it's just not going to happen. And that's you know what Paul has done with the media team is he knew that there was a space for this, and he went out and did it. So that would be my message to any team, you know, any country that wants to promote their athletes. Just go do it. It can be a cell phone, you know, just like you said, put the cell phone in someone's face, interview them, post it to your social media. It doesn't have to be top quality at first, as long as you're dedicated to improving it over time.
For sure. Like our two biggest reels, Lila Cooper, now 2 million, and then Joy with the 4.67 whatever million reach. Both of those shot with cell phones. Both of those are cell phone reels. And yeah, so it's as simple as that. The other thing is, at the beginning of that quote, I don't know if I might have started it a little bit late, but they talked about how Russ was ahead of his time. And when they would see him at the World Championships back in like 2019, Capui was telling the story about how he had a camera crew around him, and that no one really had that happening. And then now when you fast forward and you watch, like if you're in the warm-up room in the World Championships in Malta, for instance, Mike, we saw that not only is White Lights there, and SBD has a massive crew, like tons, like 10 videographers and photographers everywhere. Like every major lifter basically is being followed around by multiple cameras. And what Ryan made a really good point on that when Cappy was telling that story was that this is how you're going to get sponsors. This is how you're going to draw attention to the sport. Look at what has happened to Russ since then. People said that he was corny for having a movie crew back then, a film crew around him. Now look at him. You know, now look where his brand is. Now look how he can monetize all his influence on social media and things like this. It's huge. So that's how we definitely have to do. I mean, there's no question in my mind. Obviously, I'm super biased, but this is where the future of the sport. This is how we're going to get those big time sponsors that I keep talking about. You know, this is how we're going to get Amazon, how we're going to get like a bank to sponsor us, how we're going to get Mercedes, you know, these big companies. Like we're talking about supplements. Don't forget pregame shows in Malta were all sponsored by Monster and Red Bull, whichever one, take your pick. But yeah, like we're going to get those companies eventually. And then Mike Gold, the other thing was he said, there's this famous quote, and it's, you got to spend money to make money. I thought he was going to say something else. I thought he was going to say a different quote, which you know what quote I'm talking about. It's a baseball quote from a famous movie. And you said it before. If you build it, they will come.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come. Like that's like you said that before about the press conferences and the pregame shows that we're doing at the World Championships in Malta. Like even this live podcast right now, how many people are watching it right now? Like 6 people live. Wait until the day when we turn this on and we're going to be like sponsored by Monster, and there's 1,000 people watching it live, right?
Yeah.
Like
Junior Worlds in Romania, sponsored by Everclear.
sponsored by Tito's vodka. Tito's vodka. I'm gonna get Tito's vodka. That's gonna be our first alcohol sponsor. I'm telling you now. We do a lot of stuff in Austin, Texas, and we're a nonprofit. I know they love that. But yeah, let's also mention Adriana.
I just wanted to say one more thing, because you said like people were calling Russ corny and all that, and you might not like his style. You might not like, whoever. You might not like Sean Noriega. You might not like whoever is out there. And Taylor Atwood. You might not like how they promote themselves, but the fact is that they do promote themselves, and they have gotten to where they are by doing that. And don't be afraid to go do this stuff, because some troll is going to call you corny, or somebody isn't going to like what you do, because you're never going to please everyone. Like, it's just not going to happen. So, just do you. You may as well just do you and be happy. And, you're going to have haters either way, but you're going to have a lot more fans if you stay true to yourself and you live up to your potential.
Yeah. So I feel like,
I'm going to
go ahead, Mike.
So the funny thing is, so he made that point, I remember in the podcast, and I'm going to kind of agree with Julia, kind of argue. All these people, Ross, Taylor, whoever you like, don't like, I think they should definitely promote themselves, and they obviously do a good job of it. Taylor actually used to not really do much of that. Like, he would post his lifts and that's it. But obviously he's gotten way more into it over the last like 2-3 years. But and then we have like other people who are like world champions and have like 10,000 or 5,000 followers that don't do it. So by all means, they should promote themselves. But where I'm going to argue is, I don't think they're corny. But when you go into a gym and you see a bigger camera crew for some kid hitting some random PR than you do at like a world championship, that's kind of corny. Just saying.
It is, but I still salute that kid for doing it. And I also think, that just to me is a sign we should have more cameras at the world championships. Like, I mean, you should see how many cameras are, like, I've been on the sideline of football games. It's an insane amount of cameras. Like the Olympics, one of my mentors is a photojournalist that has what they call the golden ticket at the Olympics, where he can go anywhere and do anything that he wants. Working for formerly Life magazine and then Time magazine. And it's insane the number of, there's like something like 20,000 photographers and cameras at events like that. Like a ridiculous, more than if we could just have them in the audience of our meets, it would be like the biggest powerlifting meet ever. So, I mean, we need to normalize this stuff. I do think it's very interesting to point out, I think the two biggest influencers in Powerlifting America are Joy and Lane Norton. Neither of them are open lifters. Neither of them are going to open world championships. At this point, they, Joy finished second in Scottsdale, and her reel still got 4.6 million views. Lane Norton just finished second. His stuff's still blowing up. I think Joy is a really good example of someone who just puts in the work. She doesn't have a massive film crew following her everywhere. She gets photographers to help her out where she can, or she films on her phone. It's a small footprint, but it's all about putting that work out there and just constantly pushing it. And that's how you're going to get the sport. Joy is going to bring more people into the sport than damn near anyone else, maybe other than Russ and then Lane Norton over an extended period of time, but she's going to get,
Number one, Candido brought the most people into the sport.
Candido. I mean, exactly. Some of these over time, like, they're still bringing people into the sport, those old YouTube videos. Anyway, long story short, shout out to Kafui. Thanks for saying our name, and Ryan as well, for bringing up, the stuff that we're doing, and we're all doing it together. It's not just us. Like he said, the media, everyone is realizing you need to do more media to promote the sport, and that's how we're going to get the big sponsorships. And by him saying that stuff, by Russ saying that stuff, it helps us go back and argue for bigger budgets, bring out more people, do more press conferences, do bigger media, put more effort into it, and just keep growing. And next, we just got to land that big ass Red Bull or Monster sponsorship or whatever, and then everyone will see that this stuff really pays off, and we can keep doing it. But I want to go to the chat. Adriana Davis made a comment. She said she didn't even know who Eleni was, or Chelsea, the sub juniors, until we started bringing the spotlight to them, and Luella. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that. That's the point of what we're doing, is we're all for the lifter, like we're doing this all as a passion. And the lifters, the spotlight, that's at the forefront of every single thing that we're doing here, is trying to create platforms for the lifters. This even though we're talking about a lot of random stuff on this episode tonight, we're doing this so we can build this platform up, so we can bring lifters in and spotlight them, tell their stories, help blow them up, and then get them sponsors. And then ultimately we raise the standard for the sport. We bring in more money into the sport, and it helps everyone across the board. You know, we can make a living off this. You can, you know, get sponsorships and, you know, pursue your dreams. So thank you for mentioning that, Adriana Davis. Is this the Adriana Davis, Michael?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is.
Okay, sweet. All right. I love to see her in here talking, bringing up points and whatnot. That's great. Eventually we'll have her in here as a special guest co-host, something like that. Special professor emeritus, guest lecturer. That's an Office reference. You guys don't get it. You're too young. But speaking of young people, let's get into this. Let's talk about sub junior and junior world championships in Romania. We'll wrap up the conversation with this. So this is what we'll talk about for the rest of the show. I'm going to start off while we're going here. So first thing I want to ask, just off the top, because we need to get the hype train rolling here, is from the American side, who are the athletes and the performances that you are looking forward to the most? And we'll let you each go, and then I'll go, and let's just do like a couple rounds of this until we exhaust a lot of the big names that we're looking forward to. And again, this is who you're looking forward to seeing their next big performance on the international stage with the strictest standards, with the brightest lights, right? It doesn't necessarily mean like they're going to win or are you expecting them to get gold and everything or anything like this. It's just like, who are you really looking forward to seeing the most? And in the chat, if you're listening, drop who you think, you know, who you're looking forward to seeing the most. All right. So I'm going to kick this one over to Mike Gold first. And then in the background, I'm going to play some clips just from quick little cell phone shots that I did today. Show you guys what the hotel looks like over here in Romania, show you a little bit about the setup in the where the platform is. It's not done yet, so don't judge them harshly. It won't be done until tomorrow, but I'm going to just go ahead and roll these clips in the background while you guys are talking. So go ahead.
Okay, so the person I'm by far the most hyped to see is my boy Anthony. For a while, he wasn't really like posting, or he was posting, but like maybe it was just no top sets or whatever. And I was like, I mean, I still think he's gonna win, but I don't know how training's going. Maybe things are not like going like perfectly. But then recently he started posting some big stuff again, including that insane 700 for 5 squat. That is absolutely nuts. I don't know what his plans are in terms of attempts and stuff, but it looks like he'll be opening probably in the 700s, I would assume. And I would assume he's going to absolutely shatter the world record squat. I think I checked this up last time. It's in the article. I think it was like 332.5, which is like 733 in pounds. And I expect him to absolutely obliterate that. And wow, now I'm just looking at the video and this looks pretty cool. I am kind of jealous.
Cluj is pretty sick, man. I went to a little spot here right outside the hotel before this, and yeah, there's nightlife happening. There's all kinds of cool architecture and whatnot. It's cool. It's super cool. But back to Anthony. So while we're on the topic, Julia, I know you're gonna have your athletes that you're looking forward to the most, and if you have it in the chat, drop it in the chat who you're looking forward to the most. But Mike Gold, how big was that squat? Because when I see people doing reps of 5, I lose any sort of idea of how big it is. Okay. And then also, what kind of number do you think he's gonna post, and put it in the context of like the best in the world and where he would stack up?
So for some perspective, I don't think he posted this, but last year when we were training together in prep for last year's Worlds, he squatted one day around this time frame, also like 2 weeks out. I think he squatted like 737 for a top single, and it was probably a little bit high and very, very shaky. And at that point, I think his best was he had hit like a 650 for 5. So now we're talking 50 pounds more for a clean set of 5. I don't think he's going to go as heavy as I'm about to say, because I think he's going to play it not conservative, but like try to go 9 for 9, make sure everything's like sunk and whatever. But I think he might be good right now for like 770 or something like that.
Wow.
Like he is right now he might be up. It's possible his top end is being the second best squatter in the 105s right now after Anatoly. Like Anatoly has the world record with like 790 something, 798. I don't remember exactly, something like that. He might be right behind him in terms of the best squatters in the world.
That's amazing. And what about his total? Because what didn't he total 900? Didn't he break into the 900? Was it 901 or 900 even at that meet in Buffalo?
So he did that at the Kenmore meet.
Was it 900 on the dot?
It was definitely broke 900. I don't know if it was a little more, but and then he dipped a little bit at PA Nets. But so in terms of total, I don't think I've seen so much bench recently. But if I had to say off the top of my head right now, total, I think top end, I think he could go into the mid to upper 920s.
It was 900 on the dot.
Yeah, 900. Yep. I think he could go into the 920s.
And I was there that day. Shout out Vin. He runs amazing meets. I actually just recorded a podcast episode a couple days ago with Shane Nutt, and he talks about that competition as like, he said it was the best powerlifting meet he ever been to. So shout out Vin Mangione. He's the head coach for the raw classic side of the sub juniors and juniors here at the World Championships. He was the head coach for the North American Championships as well. He coaches Joy among many other superstar athletes. Lenny is another one. Trey Forrest, who balled out in North American Powerlifting Championships. Great coach. But yeah, that meet was fantastic. Anthony hit that 900 on the dot, and it looked like it was with ease. He was chilling all day. He was having fun. And then I know some life things came up before Scottsdale, the junior world championship or the junior nationals. And that kind of got in the way. So that's where I'm kind of asking you, Mike, based on those numbers that you've been seeing this week, is he back to that form that he was back in Buffalo and beyond, or what?
I think he's way past it.
That's awesome. Damn. So he's talking, you're saying 910, 920?
I think 910 would be a disappointing day.
Dear Lord, putting high pressure on our man. So, all right, Julia, what's your take? If you want to talk about Anthony, or you want to give us who are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah. So, I'm just gonna echo Adriana in the chat here. So she said Carolyn, Joy versus Daisy, and Luella versus Chelsea. I think, my top one is going to be Luella versus Chelsea. I just think that that's going to be phenomenal. Two sub juniors, they're 1-2 in the 84 plus sub juniors, and they're both putting up numbers that are just, we haven't seen at this age and in this weight class for a very long time. I think Luella popped off a little bit at NAPF, and she definitely blew her entry total to Romania out of the water. And I think that Chelsea is, putting up, very good lifts in training. And I think that they're both going to be miles ahead of what they put up there. And I think that this is going to be the beginning of a rivalry that can, potentially keep going into the open, and we can see them shatter records at every level. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Shout out Adriana. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Adriana, I will say. I'm going to stop sharing that right now. But yeah, that's Cluj. Definitely, I'll echo what you just said. I mean, Chelsea, go listen to the podcast with her. How can you not love her? She's absolutely amazing. Luella, same thing. Like, do you see the smile on her face when she hit that squat in Cayman Islands? Like, how can you not root for her, man? She's such a sweetheart. Like, it's almost like giving me goosebumps right now just to think about it. And neither of them have ever been in a battle with anyone. They've all walked through all their champions through, like in Chelsea's case, high school and sub junior nationals, and then Luella at open nationals and open North American championships. They didn't really have anyone challenging them. And so now we're going to get to see that head-to-head battle. How do they deal with the pressure? What kind of moves do they make? How do their coaches stack up? all this kind of stuff. So I think it's really cool. And they get to do it on the international platform in front of everyone with the Olympic channel watching and all this. It's like, that's a lot of pressure for these young girls. So I'm sure it's going to make diamonds out of them though. So that's obviously a really good one. I really like the Joy versus Daisy. Obviously everybody criticizing me for being a massive Joy fanboy, and I am, because I know her really well personally and she's an amazing person. But I also really like Daisy, man. She just came in and she's a little bit older. She's got a little bit of an edge on that front. That she's, Joy is like the youngest in the sub junior or in the junior category. She just aged in. Daisy's a little bit older. But I would love to see Daisy ball out too and start doing some crazy stuff. I love these 63 battles. 63s, like that's my like favorite weight class. It's like, that's like Meg Scanlon, who everybody knows. I'm a massive fanboy of Meg Scanlon as well. And then of course, like the greats, Leah Bavois and Carola Gara. It's like just like one of the most badass weight classes. So I'm looking forward to the future of that. Carolyn too. Carolyn is right there. So those are all really good answers. So I'll leave my answer with that and kick it back over to Mike. Who are you looking forward to the most after those?
So besides for Anthony, this one's probably, in a way, I'm looking forward to even more because it's not a solo battle. I'm looking forward to watching Boss Man, Shane, competing in a stack 93s. He's competed once in like the last year, which was PA Nats. And it was, he got pushed to the rink and then pushed somebody else, whatever, different discussion. But anyway, he had a good performance, but he didn't go all out because he sacrificed his third attempt for playing the game, which is important. In this situation, he's not going to be able to sacrifice his third attempt because it's going to be with multiple people. So we're going to get to see him go all out. Shane doesn't really post so much training like most other lifters do. So I don't necessarily have a great idea of where he's holding, but I know training is going well, and I expect him to put a nice PR on what he did last time. And I don't know. I can't tell you it's enough to win. We have like 5 like really, really good competitors who are all pretty close. I don't know where most of them are individually, but I know that Shane's going to put up something big, and hopefully it'll be enough to win, and it'll be exciting to watch. In terms of any one class if I had to pick one class to watch, that's the class.
Okay, good. I hope you weren't going to move on because we have breaking news on this front. Did you get that DM I sent you?
Yeah. So I wasn't sure what it meant because I've seen people post things like that before, and until I see his name off of the okay. So Swedish 93, Yulong Lee, last year's surprise winner, made some post. Let me just pull it up. But basically, the post makes it sound like he is no longer powerlifting. It said, "I'm pretty much done with powerlifting for now. Have achieved many goals through my junior years. See ya." Now, I don't know exactly what to make of this. I know he had been battling an injury earlier, and I remember him saying maybe like 2 months out that if he didn't get to certain numbers by a certain point, he would drop out. But then after that, training seemed to go really well, and it looked like he was coming back. It looked like he was coming back and that he would be competing at a high level. But his last post before this dropout one, or not dropout, before this one that might be a dropout, was a fail video. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if he re-injured himself. But it does look like he likely is dropping out, which would take out one of the major contenders. It's so stacked that even if you take out the person nominated first, last year's champion, it would still potentially be the most stacked class in the entire world championship. So,
but
yeah,
it means that, that's a, I don't think anyone would have predicted that Yulong would not be on the podium. So
wait, pause for a second. Let me just correct myself. I should have spent 1 extra minute looking. but I was just saying it as soon as it came up. He is competing in Romania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that
I
what
said
you say in the
I will
comments?
just do my last competition in Romania, and in the future maybe I'll come back.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what Shane told me. He said that he's going to do Worlds, but isn't expecting too much out of himself. His last post before this was failing some lifts. But anyway, he was a podium favorite. Like, I think everyone would have predicted him to make it on the podium. And now that opens up a podium spot. We've got two dogs in this fight, right? In Peyton and Shane. So this just increases our chances a little bit of getting a gold and possibly a silver. It'd be so sick if we could sweep this with the tightest weight class in the whole competition, possibly, and US comes through 1 and 2. That would be so badass. So and of course, like, we love Shane. He's like an OG godfather of the juniors, which is crazy that he's in the juniors. I did a podcast with him. It'll be dropping soon. It'll be dropping before he lifts and everything. So be sure to look out for that and watch it. He drops a ton of knowledge, a ton of wisdom. Like I said, he's a savvy veteran of the game. And so is like, you definitely want to take notes on the kind of stuff that he's talking about. But yeah, anyway, that is a great matchup. We're all hoping for Shane to win that one in his last shot. But also Peyton is also born in 2000 as well, so it's his last shot as well. And he's an absolute dog too. He doesn't get nobody knows who he is. His Instagram is Quad Sauce. He almost never posts. We're gonna spotlight him. We're gonna be all over him. We're gonna be doing interviews with him. We're gonna do press conferences. Try to get him on some pregame shows. As soon as I see him here in the hotel, I'm gonna be making videos that he's in the building and whatnot. We're gonna try to blow him up for sure because he deserves it as well. And I can't wait to see these two young cats go out into the open where it's already like one of the most loaded and stacked 93s ever in this next Powerlifting America Classic Open Nationals, which will be in Reno later in 2024. So, all right, Julia.
Yeah.
So you type in something. Yeah, you got one.
Oh yeah. So my second choice is going to be Eleni. Literally pulling herself into, I would say, the favorite position here, like the the favorite for the gold. She was nominated second, but she's since deadlifted 400 pounds and hit some incredible lifts. And I think that Mike said this too in his scouting report, which I mean, that thing was thorough. He's like the next Matt Gary over here.
Shout out Mike Gold.
But
I love how we just shout out ourselves.
She could very well open deadlifts above the world record, which is insane. I remember back a way long time ago when I was stupidly trying to be a 57, how big of a deal a 400-pound deadlift was at the open level. So to be doing it as a sub junior is just incredible. And she's obviously already a star. I think this is, it's only up from here. I think that she's going to do very well here, set world records, win a gold medal, and I'm just here for it. I think that it's good to see that we have some rising stars on the female sub junior and junior side. So yeah, that'd be my second choice.
Huge. Eleni is a star in the making. I was just going to pull her up on Instagram here real quick and see where she's at so that we can track this. She's at 5,000. She just broke 5,000. She got 5,300 followers. We got to get her to 10,000 followers like tomorrow. It has to happen this week. This is her coming out party. We know her. We love her. We saw her ball out at high school nationals. We did a podcast interview with her. Again, shout out our own podcast interview. If you haven't listened to that, she's so smart. She breaks down some of the battles at the Worlds in Malta. Like, she gives feedback for the IPF on how the juries work and how the pacing of it went and everything. Like, she weighed in on everything. She's a student of the game. She watches the sport. She's just now been working with Vin Mangione, who we mentioned before. And so the sky is the limit for her. She's really gonna take off, I think, coming up. And we just want to really showcase her and spotlight her. Anytime someone says Eleni in the 57s, what do I always say? Jessica Haggerty in the 52s. because she is just like Eleni. She absolutely balled at high school nationals. Her and Eleni stole the show. She's also a rising superstar. Nobody knows about her because her Instagram is even less. I don't even know what she has on social media right now, but we're going to make sure that whatever it is, we're going to triple it this week and get her going. Let me pull it up real quick. Jessica Haggerty lifts 387. That's a national travesty right there.
That's a crime.
That's a crime. Like, someone should be arrested. But she is going to be a star. So make sure to be looking out for her. And I mean, we'll see where the future is with her as well, because she's a sub junior. She's got a lot of time to grow. 52s on the US on the world stage. We need 52s, like we need a 52. So, I mean, I hope that maybe she can be our salvation in the future. But all right. So that wasn't actually my pick though, Jessica Haggerty. But I just, every time we say Eleni, she's right there on the nominations, right next to her in the 52. So we got to mention Jessica Haggerty. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just mention the women's equip team as something I'm looking forward to watching, because equip doesn't get enough love. We already talked about Lila Cooper earlier, but I want to spotlight one person in particular who I recorded a podcast episode with before I left. I'm going to be posting that one immediately, like later tonight. By the way, it's like 1:00 here in Romania right now. Your boy is super tired. I had a 20-hour flight to get here. This is how hard we're working for you out here. And I'm not going to sleep this whole week, but it's 1:00. I'm going to get that Bella Vargas interview posted. Bella is nominated over 100 kilos ahead of second place. This is like ridiculous. She's that good. I mean, she is so good. I think she got invited on the podcast. I think she told me that she did get invited to be on the open team headed to Lithuania later this year, but she couldn't do it because she's a student athlete. She's got a great story. Definitely want to listen to that podcast whenever it drops, but she's going to put up a massive solo performance. And then I also want to just like, I'm saying women's equip team overall, but really the sub junior women's equip team, I think they have a really good shot at taking home gold in team points, anchored by two absolute studs. One may be the second coming of like Kelsey McCarthy, 3-time world champion, and that is Catherine Cargill in the 69s. She is also nominated something like 32 kilos ahead, and she's born in 2005. So, she still has time to keep growing. And she's from Powerlifting royalty. We talked about before. Everyone in her family powerlifts. They own a gym. Like she has everything at her fingertips to become like the next great superstar on the equip side. And then the other one that I want to mention is just is Mackenzie Wells, also nominated 25 kilos in first place in the 84 kilo division. She came to high school nationals. She also, she's in Amanda Lawrence's weight class. So we're going to call her the equip sub junior Amanda Lawrence, the queen. And definitely tune in to see her. These are two names that if you don't know them already, Catherine Cargill and Mackenzie Wells, you're going to know them because we're going to talk about them. And they're going to be lifting in the next few days here in Romania. And then Bella Vargas is the other one in the juniors. So we got 2 sub juniors and a junior on the equip side. So look at that. I'm doing my duty to help the equip side grow. And these ladies are going to ball out and prove me right and help the equip side grow with their massive performances on the world stage. All right, Mike Gold, what's the next one for you?
The next one for me is going to be not one person, but both the 83s.
Okay.
So obviously, Alex, I've known for probably longer than most people in powerlifting. I remember when he came to my gym when he was like 16 and like squatting like 400 pounds. And so I've known him for a while. And then Connor, I don't really know. I just heard of him for the first time when I was like looking up things for junior nationals. But obviously he won junior nationals, had a great performance. Training's going well for him. Training's going amazing for Alex. I'm just curious to see where they're going to end up. I think Connor is like nominated in like 6th, I believe, and Alex in like 11th. But like we mentioned the other time, there's a small gap between everyone. Like it's the deepest this class has ever been, and like at any spot, like any 5 spots can be separated by 5 kilos or stuff like that. So they could easily end up in the top 5. They could easily end up 10th, like realistically. So I'm curious to see where they end up, and I hope that they can both work their way into the top 5, maybe podium. So I'm definitely excited to see that class.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, Connor's a dog. We saw him in Scottsdale. We did a post competition press conference with him. Smart, strong as hell. Had more in the tank. I mean, I don't think he was really pushed. He totaled 743, and then Alex totaled 722. So he basically cakewalked to that total. I know his training is looking really good right now. So I'm excited too for people to see who this kid Connor is. Of course, Alex is our boy, right? We had him on the last episode, Monday Night Live. Go back and listen to it last week. That's what Mike was referencing. We talked about how this weight class is super stacked. But we had Alex on last week, so go back and check that out. He's one of our guys. Like, we're gonna bring him on here more as a co-host and stuff. Like, he's super smart. He's a coach. He's a young guy. He's coaching Carolyn Connor, who's gonna ball out at this competition as well. And she's making amazing progress, like on track to be arguably the most decorated lifter of all time. She only lifts at nationals and internationals. So good pick there for sure. All right, Julia, who's your next?
All right, I'm gonna pick a battle that I'm surprised hasn't been mentioned yet, but it's the 74 kg sub juniors. This seems to be a fixture now with Nick Gaines and Jack Reynolds. Nick has been popping off in training, and he is coming in a half kilo behind Jack. Jack is always a gamer. He's always, he's going to put up something big. He likes to perform. But Nick's lifts have just been, above and beyond. I can't really see anyone catching him. But, he does have to make the right calls on attempts. So that is a thing. So as we found out, so that would be my next pick. And I think Mike probably has a lot more information as to Nick's lifts, but I think that he's going to be number one. I think Jack's going to do his best to challenge him, but I predict them going 1-2, Nick Gaines and then Jack Reynolds.
Yeah, it was. Talk about Jessica Haggerty's lack of social media presence being a national crime. Nick Gaines attempt deadlift selection.
Oh, God.
Should have been a national crime as well. I mean, when you pull it and you lose by half a kilo, the dude has got to have a bad taste in his mouth. I'm sure he's fired up. He's been posting stuff. We've been reposting it. Training's looking amazing. Jack Reynolds still has 2 more years as a sub junior. Jack Reynolds is a young king. Like, there's no question about it. I think it might be Nick Gaines' time, but we might be entering into a Jack Reynolds era in the future. So I think definitely that's one that you want to take a look at and watch if you haven't watched already. So yeah. All right. Next up, is it my pick? All right. I'm going to go ahead. I want to give some love for our Quip squad here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet, and that is the 66 kilo phenom, Kyle Nowak. I heard them talking about him on King of the Lifts, and I wanted to ask Mike Gold about this because I know he knows everything. Did he has competed internationally. He competed at the University World Game.
He did University Worlds in Turkey.
University Worlds in Turkey last year, right? Exactly. They said that he doesn't have international experience, but he does. And the question mark with him is, so they brought this up on King of the Lifts. I gotta give credit where credit is due. What's he nominated with here? 662.
Yeah.
And the world record is 688. And guess whose world record that is?
Charlie Poco.
Exactly. Who we just got to meet down in the Cayman Islands.
Nice. He was there?
Yeah, he was there hanging out, cheering on his boy Mario Leos. I talked with him, chatted him up.
Charles is he's one of the most hilarious dudes in powerlifting.
He's so sweet. He's such a nice guy. He's amazing. Yeah. Right when I saw him, I was looking at him like, he walked in when we were still like putting everything together, and like the warm-up room was like the main room where the competition happened was like a total disaster zone. He walked in and I just looked at him like, I know who you are. And of course, like I'm like starstruck, went up and shook his hand. Little fun fact, the one and only singlet that I own, I bought it because Charles Opoko broke the squat world record in it in like 2019. Was it 2019 or 2018 Worlds? It was one of the Sweden ones.
He went back to back. I forget which year.
But it's a very strange singlet that no one would ever buy except for me, because I was a big fan of Charles Opoko at that time. And then he immediately switched to SBD like 1 week later. So anyway, but getting back to Kyle Nowak, he's one of the nicest guys. He had a battle. He had an absolute battle in Scottsdale. We thought it was going to be a really big battle with our boy Zach Taylor, who is also a stud. And Kyle came out on top. His coach tapered him perfectly, and he cruised on the day. And so if they can replicate that again, I saw he posted something today that he's working with Kedrick, which I didn't know that. I didn't know that Kedrick was doing his nutrition and whatnot. So, I mean, he's not leaving anything to chance. He's got one of the best nutritionists in the game. We obviously know his taper works with whatever he's doing with training because we saw it in Scottsdale. The question will be, can he get to that 688 junior world record, or can he get close to it? And then also, Mike, he's going to pull something crazy. He's going to pull the world record for sure, right? On deadlift. I don't even know what it is, but I know he's going to break it.
What, the junior or the open world record?
Oh, is he going to break the open?
Yeah, that's Brian's 300.5.
Okay, 300.5. He's already done 302.5. Okay.
He's going to break the open potentially on a second if he wants to.
Holy shit. So there you go. I picked a good one. Kyle Nowak. Stay tuned for that one. Sparks are going to fly. Could be a potential junior world record total. Definitely going to be sounding like an open world record deadlift. So in the juniors. So that's great. And couldn't be a nicer person. Super soft spoken, super smart. Can't wait to show you guys his personality a little bit more. If you go back and you watch the story highlights that are on our profile from Scottsdale, you'll see some nice interviews with him on there. And I believe he also did a press conference with us as well. So go check that out. All right. You guys want to move on? You guys want to keep hitting?
We can move on.
Okay. So the question I have in this weight class in particular, the 66, is, what do you think of this Canadian guy? Do you know who he is?
Are you talking about the kid that King of the Lifts reposted in the story? That one?
Yes. What do you think of this guy? It must be Tuan Hein Tran. What do you think? He's nominated 595. He
could fight for second if he wants.
He said he's going to do something special. What do you think of just his overall attitude? I'll start. I love it.
I like it. I mean, so this comes down to actually something Russ said. Other people have said it also, which is like didn't apply directly here, but he's like, don't start talking about coming at me if you're like ranked 10th. Like, make sure you're top 5, make sure whatever. So I think you should definitely, I mean, you're coming into competition. You should always, if it's possible, think that you can win, or think that you can, whatever your best outcome is, you should think that's what's going to happen. I don't know enough about this kid at all. Literally, I didn't know who he was until King Lifts reposted him in the story. But if he thinks he has a shot of winning, then all for it. But when you do talk like that, there's going to be blowback. So it's a trade-off. I like the attitude. I like believing in himself. I think he has 0% chance of winning. It's possible to come second. Everyone after that is like a little bit further behind. Like I know Taiga from Japan is looking strong. He's, I would say, pretty comfortably going to come in second also. So realistically, I think this kid's fighting for third. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to have, because sometimes we just have people who have no personality and are kind of boring. So I definitely, it's definitely cool to see when people say stuff like that. Just, I hope he could back it up. Not winning. He's not going to win. I'm saying I hope he could back it up with a good performance, like
a podium, like finished in third or
something. Yeah. Like it's not like he doesn't have to win to back it up. I hope he puts up something like way over his nominations, like some impressive lifts, and comes in a good placing like that. If he does that, then like that's enough backing up for me. Like if he totals something like You said he's nominated like 595. You said
Yeah, 8th place. Yeah.
So if he goes like 635 and comes third, then I think that would be backing it up enough. But don't total 602 and come in 7th place. Don't do it.
Yeah, that would be rough. Julia, what do you think? You're muted or something. Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah, I think banter, is always usually good. I mean, I won't say always good. It did a lot for the 74s back in the day on King of the Lifts when they had that podcast. Drew a lot of attention. So, I don't mind it. But I mean, that's a lot of ground to make up, Kyle is nominated at 662.5 kilos, and you can do the most special thing you want, but if you're nominated at 595 and that total is fairly recent, it's going to be quite hard to put that many kilos on your total. I don't think it's going to happen. But kudos to him for making this a sport and doing bantering with the other athletes. I think that's good. I think that's healthy. I think that's a sign that people are passionate about this and they're taking it seriously, and only good things.
Definitely. All right. So okay, Mike, we can't get off the juniors. We can't get off junior and sub junior world championships first. I got a couple more things I gotta hit. So first of all, I'm gonna have to have you talk about a couple of superstars that you're looking forward to that are not Americans. So that'll be next. But first, I do want to mention the men's equip team, okay, because we haven't talked about them basically at all on Monday Night Live. And so I want to just run through them really fast. Jonathan Becharel in the 53 kilo weight class, because we have 53s in sub juniors and juniors. Or at least, is it just a sub juniors? No, it's
no juniors also.
Sub juniors and juniors. He's nominated 35 kilos ahead in first place there. So that's a name that you're going to know after this. Another one that I want to mention in the sub juniors is from Wisconsin, Arayo Sanyalo. He's comfortably in second place. Maybe if he's put a lot on his total, he hasn't competed. I don't believe this total is from way back from high school national. So maybe he's added a lot. Sub juniors can do that. He's 70 kilos off first place, but still in second place. The other one, Cale McDaniel, he's nominated in first by a mile, 50 kilos in the 120s. And then the 120 plus, I met this kid today. I was on a flight with him, had to change planes a couple times in Frankfurt. We had to get a new plane and all this. And that's Kellen Myers, sub junior 120 plus, nominated 720, 10 kilos behind Chinese Taipei 730. So that's going to be a fun, healthy battle right there. That I think will be a fun one to watch. He also hasn't competed since, well, he had to do some like high school because he's from Louisiana. They do high school powerlifting, but he hasn't on a official like an IPF Powerlifting America platform, hasn't competed since high school nationals either. So that total is super low compared to what he's going to be able to put up. 720 is going to be way beyond that. And then on the juniors, so those were all sub juniors. On the junior end of things, on the men's, I wanted to mention, who was it? Because nominated at the front, our junior men on the equip side, no one's like nominated in first place, but Luke Mellon is in a battle with Philippe Perage. And you may recognize that name.
Yes, related to Gaston?
I was on a plane with Gaston today, and he was talking shit. He was saying his kid's coming. He was saying his son's coming. So, Luke, if you're listening to this, you got to take down the Honcho's son.
I just have one question.
I don't know what's going to be. I don't know what your future is going to be after that. You're going to wake up with a dead
cow
My only
in your
question
bed or
is
something. But
how
big's the kid's arch? That's my only question.
Yeah, for sure. But Philippe Perage, Gaston was like super pumped about it. He's been competing in like recently a bench. I think he won one of the Western European bench competition, something like this. But Luke, they're going to be in a battle for second and third. The person who is in first from Germany, Moritz, he's going to run away with it there. But I thought there was another. Oh, the monster, Chase Lawton, 105. Also hasn't competed since high school nationals, nominated 815. He is by far the youngest junior in the weight class. He's born 2004. He's going up against people who are 4 years older than him, born in 2000. He just aged up from the sub junior. I think he won all 4 gold medals or something like that. He definitely won the world championships last year in sub juniors. He's moved up and he's already looking like if he can put this performance together, he can podium and possibly threaten for a bronze. And who knows, with Equipped, you never know what's going to happen. That's what's so exciting about it. So maybe the person in first place from Norway will bomb out and our boy Chase Lawton will be back-to-back world champ in two different age categories. All right. So that's the rundown on the Equipped men. That's a basic gist of it. Those are the studs. There's all kinds of, we got a great team. They're just super young on the junior side. A bunch of them just aged up. So they're going to be battling this year, but next year and the year after that, we're going to be sweeping the Equipped side for sure. All right. I wanted you to talk about some other couple standouts. There's a guy named Hamza something or other. I don't know who he is because I only follow American powerlifters, but supposedly he's pretty good. And then there's a guy named Timur as well. I heard he's pretty good. You want to tell us a little bit about them so people can tune in to some of these other weight classes as well?
Okay. Yeah, so I'll start with a couple that you mentioned. I'll start with a couple of the ones who already are a little more popular. So the 2 you mentioned, then one more. So Hamza Fam, he's a 105 from Austria, I believe. He's put up absolutely insane numbers in the gym. He's a sub junior. He was there last year. He put up like an 880 SBD day recently, which is like 80 kilos higher than any sub junior has ever hit in any weight class, which is pretty cool. He's gonna obviously shatter the world record for the sub juniors. I think he might be the closest to Anthony of any of the 105s. He's definitely someone to watch. He'll be exciting. Timur, he's the junior 120 plus from Georgia. He recently got silver in Malta. He's presumably, I haven't looked through the nomination so much, but presumably going to walk away with the gold pretty easily, seeing that if he's the second best open lifter, then he's probably going to be the best junior lifter.
Yeah. Got 1,000 kilo total nomination.
Yeah, he's already over that. Yeah, so he's definitely going to be someone to watch. He has gone previously for the deadlift world record before it got pushed up by Jesus. He might be, I mean, he's nowhere near Jesus now, but he's very young. So who knows, maybe he'll be the person to start coming close to Jesus. So he's someone to keep an eye on.
It seems like he has one more year as a junior, by the way. I don't know when his birthday is exactly, but he's born 2001. So that would imply that he's still going to be a junior for a whole nother year. So if there's anyone out there that can catch up to Jesus one day, besides Pablo, go ahead.
Yeah.
Could be this guy.
So then another one of the ones who's a little bit more known now, he's been getting posted on stuff, is Nonso Chinya. I don't know how to pronounce his name, from Great Britain, sub junior. He was a 105 last year. Last year he came in second. He right ahead of our American, I'm forgetting his name, sorry. Whatever. Anyway, so he moved up to 120. I'm not sure if he moved up to 120 just because he wants to go up a weight class or because he wants to get the gold, because the 105s looks pretty locked. But he's a huge deadlifter. He pulled like 7, maybe 20 or something last year at Sub Junior Worlds to break the world record. And now he's like into like the 770 range. His squat and bench are also making progress. I remember I met him in Turkey last year, like maybe either the first or second night. I was like chilling with, I think it was Jeffrey and maybe Anthony, and we were like by the pool and we saw this kid, and it was like late. It was like probably like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So afterwards we're going up and we started talking to him, and he told us he was 16. And I was like shocked. I thought he was like 23 or junior. No, the kid had like another year left in the sub juniors. Wow. I was just, yeah. And then since then he's like blown up a bit, and he's going to be someone to watch for sure. Definitely going to be exciting. And then some other people, one other person who is not going to place as high, but pretty famous, from Great Britain, junior, Nathaniel Messiah. He's been like a Gymshark athlete for like a couple of years. He's like massive on social media. So I know he's always powerlifted a little bit, but I believe this is his first worlds, and I don't think he's going to be battling like for that top 5, since like we already established how competitive the top 5 in the 93s are, but he's very strong, and he's going to be putting up like a good performance. Now, the last 2 I want to mention for now are 2 who probably there's a 99% chance you have no idea who they are. And they're in a weight class that doesn't have an American really battling for the gold, but that's the 120s. Now, we got Saeed Al-Hassi from Libya, who's got another year in the juniors also.
Yeah.
And then we got Etienne Chair from Lebanon. Now, these 2 nominated 2nd and 6th in the 120s have both put up well over 900 kilo gym totals. They're both way over their nominated totals. And like, I've been watching their lifts, like it's to standard. Like they're hitting lifts that are clean lifts. So I'm really excited to see them. And just in general, the 120s are going to be a pretty entertaining class at Junior Worlds, but specifically them 2, I really want to see like how big of a total they can do in like IPF world situations. But they're definitely 2 lifters to watch. And I think in general, the 120s probably in general are not spoken about enough.
Yeah.
Partially because for a while, like they were just dominated by Dennis in the open class, and it wasn't super competitive, and for whatever other reasons. But I think the 120s are like getting more competitive in the open. I mean, there is nobody who's like matching Dennis yet, but it's getting closer compacted. And now we have these 2 juniors who are like both have the potential to put up stuff that would place them in podium running in the open. So I think these are 2 kids to watch from 2 countries that are not really known for powerlifting stars. So I think it'll be exciting.
Yeah, those are good. Those are one, you're really digging deep on those to find those totals. And I know that those must be the lifters that you were talking about last time that you were talking with and stuff like that. That's cool. It's always cool to like know ahead of time who these like breakout stars that everyone's going to be talking about in 2 weeks are, because they're going to put up totals way bigger than their nominated totals. And that's why we got Mike Gold to dig through the dirt and find those diamonds in the rough. So thanks for pointing those out. I think we've done a pretty well-rounded sort of preview show, even though this isn't a preview show for the juniors world championships, but between this one and all the previous Monday Night Lives where we've been talking about it here and there a little bit. If you listen to all of them, like all 12 hours of Monday Night Live, you'll have a pretty good idea.
If you listen to the redacted hours, then
then you'd be a genius. There's some secret information in there that would really unlock the keys to the universe, but no one will ever know. But Julia, do you have anything else that you want to add before we wrap this one? Was there anything else that you wanted to hit on before we close it down? You're muted.
Yeah, actually there is. So going back to the equip side, I think you did not mention this, and I can see there's a lot of great lifters and why this might be overlooked, but the US on the women's sub junior equipped side has 2 lifters within 20 kilos of each other at 5'10" and 490, and
84 plus, right?
84 plus, yes. And they are the leader, who is Chinese Taipei, is at 520. So that should be a pretty good battle between those 3. And it actually mirrors the battle in the sub junior raw, because that's also a battle of 2 great sub junior 84 plus lifters against Chinese Taipei. So it's interesting, Chinese Taipei is really bringing a strong team this year in some divisions. And I think that's one battle that we overlooked a bit. It's really cool to see the 84 plus weight class popping off, as always. I'm always going to highlight that. So that'd be something that we maybe overlooked a little.
Yeah, I mean, just to say that we have 4 sub junior 84 pluses on our team, 4 of them, and they're all like in contention. Obviously, on the classic side, they're going to be 1 and 2, but over here on the equip side, they could be 2 and 3, or you just never know what happens. I mean, they're within 10 kilos. Dage Love and Michaela Forsyth, they're within striking distance of gold medals in the 84 plus on the equip side, sub junior women. So it's huge. Also, I don't know if I mentioned Natalie Estrada, but she's got like a 20 kilo lead as well. In first place in the 43 sub junior. So our sub junior equipped women team is really stacked. Like, I'm gonna be shocked if they don't win team gold. But it's interesting. Yeah, good point. Chinese Taipei, they're all over these nominations. They're everywhere. They got a good squad. They got a good squad on equip. They got a good squad over on classic. So I'm excited for that. I'm happy to see it. I also know like there's some Indian lifters here nominated in first place. Gonna be all over the podium. I see some nominated in second. Couple of them nominated in first over here on the women's equip side. So it's really cool to see these countries that we don't, we don't run into them a lot. We don't see them at North Americans. We don't really see India, or we saw Chinese Taipei in Malta, but they didn't have like a really huge team. But they did have 2 tables reserved at the banquet. I remember that. So they must have had a pretty big team. But it's really cool to see Chinese Taipei in there, and it's really cool to see that stuff. So Nick Gaines. He's in the chat. He's talking shit. What's he saying? He says he's going to eat Jack Reynolds for breakfast. He said there will be no misloading the 3rd attempt this time around. Yeah, it might be Nick Gaines' week coming up.
My not so hot take is that it won't matter. Your 3rd deadlift attempt won't matter. It'll be over before your 3rd deadlift.
Yeah, Nick, I think Nick is on a little bit of a redemption arc. And Jack Reynolds, though.
Nick, who's you're in the chat, so just answer. Who's your coach? I'm really curious.
Yeah, Nick, who's your coach? I know Alex Sador stopped through down there. I know you hanging out with Scott Strafford and stuff. Is he a strength guy? I should know this because I repost him.
How'd you repost him? He doesn't post.
Oh, he posted something recently.
He did?
Yeah, Nick Gaines posts. You're thinking Peyton Johnson.
Nick doesn't really post either.
Yeah, he posted something. I think he sent a collab with us this week. Yeah, he did. How did you miss it 4 days ago? It was a 530-pound squat. I think it was a single.
No, I don't mean, okay. I meant like if you look, like he's like
Dungy Gaines. It's Dungy Gaines. I forgot. Yeah, I don't think I've ever tagged him in a story. I'll have to start doing that.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, by the way, just to mention one more lifter, you were saying like countries we don't get to see. So I don't know how real these numbers are. I actually didn't even like find them. Like I didn't look at the Instagram, but for 52 kilo juniors, Joya Kairala from Lebanon is nominated with 437.5. That's insane. Like that's like 5 kilos under where Noemi was like a year ago. Like that would be that would have came like silver at before this year's Worlds at Worlds for the Open. Wow. And I mean that's like 27.5 ahead of Camille Hadris, who's the French like really strong 52 junior.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and she's 01, so she's a junior for another year. So I mean I'm really
Lebanon's
curious
bringing
to see
shooters.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what like Lebanon. What was the other country before? Lebanon, Libya, like all these like Arabic countries that haven't had huge teams in the past. Like I'm really curious to see what that, because there's obviously really strong people out there. So, I definitely want to see more of it.
For sure. Nick Gaines in the chat said he's with Dungy Gaines, Keenan Dung, or Dunge, maybe it's Dungy Gaines, I don't know, but I know that guy. He was in Omaha. He trains at Omaha Barbell sometimes.
You said I'm under a new coach since Nats, and since I don't care, I don't mind saying things that other people wouldn't say. Like I said on the redacted podcast that if I were you, I would have fired my coach after nationals.
Oh, snap. Mike Gold with the super hot, strong
Listen,
take.
listen, there are some things that are fireable offenses for coaches, and that's one of them. So, yeah.
And obviously, Nick Gaines is a smart guy. He took your advice without even
I
seeing.
don't even know who his previous coach was, but regardless, your previous coach could have been what's called again. It could have been the strength guys. It could have been anybody. It could have been, it could have been Matt Gary. It's a fireable offense.
No, that's a fireable offense. What you just said.
That is true, but
You're going to be fired.
Matt Gary would agree with me. Matt Gary. I'm going to clip this. Matt Gary would agree with me.
He would fire himself. Matt Gary would fire himself.
Yes. Making a mistake on judgment is one thing. If you load the wrong number to win and lose by half a kilo when it's there and you load the wrong number, Matt Gary himself said that he's made many mistakes. But that one is a fireable offense.
Math error is not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'll send it to him. I'm clipping this inside.
Matt Gary did say that. He did say that.
Yeah.
By the way,
I'll put this clip.
I love Matt Gary.
Put this on my story and say, if this was Matt Gary, is it a fireable offense?
Make sure to keep it to this part when I say that I love Matt Gary. He's the OG legend.
I also love Matt Gary.
Matt Gary and Susie too.
Matt Gary is the GOAT, but even the GOAT could be fired if they did something as stupid as that.
Yeah, let's see what he says. But shout out Susie too. God damn, you know what? We didn't even mention Susie Gary when we did talked about NAPF as well. Yeah. By the way, I think
that's your fault. You
another
guys
squat world record.
I take no
gold medals and everything, and then coached everyone under the sun. She's amazing. Let's end off this episode with just shout outs to Matt and Susie Gary. Matt, we already talked about him. We say his name on here all the time, but we got to say Susie Gary's name more because she just coached so many great. Everyone wanted to hire her at the North American Powerlifting Championships. I got to spend some time with her. She's so nice, so smart. Every time I learn so much from her, just being around her in the warm-up room, little things. I'm always asking her little questions because I want to help our lifters. I'm there. I want to be able to do little things that can help. So that's why I read Matt Gary's book and why I ask Susie Gary all these little questions throughout, because I want to be able to keep an eye out for things and help our team and help our lifters. And no one better to learn from. It's always an honor to be in their presence. So shout out Susie Gary. I'm 99% sure she broke a squat world record. Julia, do you recall at the North American Powerlifting Championships?
Yeah, I think she broke her own. And
at a weight class up, by the way. She went up a weight class, which she didn't fully fill it out, and broke world records. And like I said, just coached immaculately all week. Coached one of the most epic battles, most hyped battles of the whole thing. Michael Garazzo over Lane Norton. It was not just the battle of the athletes on the platform, but it was also Ben Escrow and Leah Bavois in the background behind Lane and Susie Gary behind Michael Garazzo. It was awesome. So she was there all week. She worked her tail off. She reffed. She was reffing as well. While she had to have blocks under her feet while she's reffing so she could get some, because she's on her feet all day. And it was just you don't want your legs dangling. She's just amazing. She coached Laura Estrella, who said it was a highlight of her, lifting career this far is to be coached by Susie Gary, a game day coach by Susie Gary. So super awesome. Okay, we said her name. Clip all that, Mike. Make 4 or 5 reels in a row, all 1 minute, or Instagram stories in a row, all 1 minute long. See how hard it is. You see how hard it is. Okay,
I agree. It's too much work.
I know. So last thing, Julia, you mentioned something in the chat here. What were we gonna say?
Yeah, so I didn't realize this when we were doing the previews and what battles we're looking out for. So in the 63 junior division, Joy was nominated in 9th at 433.5 kilos. And her most recent total, weekly total, was 464 kilos. And that is extremely significant because the 3rd place nominated total in that weight class is 464.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying, your best gym lifts are going to, happen on the platform on the world stage, but she is barely aged into this weight class. And, this is a weight class that the Europeans have historically dominated. So it's interesting to see. We'll see how much of that comes to fruition, but just that's massive. And you know, this can be the start of us taking back some of those weight classes. You love to see it. So,
and just like looking to the future, she keeps making gains. She's got a great coach. She's hitting PRs all the time. Like, she definitely squats to depth in training. She definitely, you know, she does some touch and go benches here and there, but she pauses them when she counts them. She'll count it as a pause PR, stuff like that. And just the future is so bright for her. And just one of the biggest stars in the sport. We love her. She's amazing. She's going to kick ass. We also love Daisy too. We don't know what's going on with her. We don't see her training. I would repost Daisy just as much as anyone else if she posted more, but she's keeping
Not
some
as
things
much
up.
as Joy.
I would. Yes, I would. Cause I want to be fair. I want to share the spotlight with them. Joy doesn't even need our help on shares. She's helping us when we share her, it's helping us, but yeah. But go ahead, Julia.
No, so I talked to Daisy a little bit after nationals, and you know, she's one of the nicest people. You just, you know, after you talk to her, it makes you want to root for her. And yeah, you know, I know this is strategic to not post your lifts, but post your lifts. We want to show you some love here, and we want to repost you. So
yeah, we want to help grow your social media and shine the spotlight on you for sure. And I'll tell you what, I mic'd up both of them in Scottsdale. They're both so quiet, so soft spoken. They have like the softest little voices that the microphone like barely picked up any of their voice, and all it was picking up was the announcer the whole time. So like the audio was like totally worth it. So that was when I learned can't really mic up these young 63s because they don't talk enough. They aren't fiery enough. But man, Joy definitely gets fired. They both get fired up, but they just don't say a whole lot. Very loud enough for the mic to pick up. But anyway, they're both awesome. I can't wait to see. I would love to see them both sneak on the podium and shock the world, do something crazy like that. And then just for the future, everybody knows, I think 63, 69s, those are like the two of the toughest weight classes in the world. I mean, now, damn, every weight class is tough. 76, 84 plus, they're all stacked. You got to deal with our best lifter in the world, Natalie Richards, in the 57s. I mean, there's just no easy weight classes anymore, but we got to get someone that can challenge with like Leah, Corolla. You know, we got to have someone that can pick up the torch whenever Meg is done. And so hopefully it'll be these two.
Let's chill on that. Let's chill.
She's going to be done one day. I mean, she can be done one day, but listen, if anyone,
her daughter will pick up the slack when she's done.
Her daughters. And hey,
only
no one is a
only one of them's Meg. One of them's gonna be a powerlifter, not the other one.
Listen, you can clip this and send it to Meg, but I tell you right now, nobody is a bigger fan of Meg Scanlon than me. So go listen to. We have 2 great podcast interviews with Meg Scanlon, plus a bunch of press conferences from all her competitions. Every time she speaks, you should be taking notes. We don't say that Meg is the queen enough. She's the queen. So Meg is also the queen and strongest mom in the world. Period. End of story. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, but I mean, bro, she's gonna hang it up one day, and with these young juniors, especially Joy, just aging into 63s, you know, maybe she'll eventually fill out the 69s and give us a shot at taking down another weight class. Maybe we'll have Meg and Joy one day, 1 and 2. But obviously Chelsea Savitt's in there, and she's going to keep balling, and she's still making progress. So anyway, we're just rambling at this point. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Julia, you got any final things?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to forget about like Celine too. She just came over.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
And maybe me if I ever am not injured one day.
Oh, we got a 63 right over here on this podcast. Yeah, don't forget about Celine Crum too. She's coming as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. That's gonna be a crazy battle with her and Meg. Right off the top, who's winning this year, Mike?
Meg.
Julia.
I'm gonna go with Meg.
I'm not gonna make a choice, but everybody knows where my heart is. But I love Celine.
I like
too.
Celine, and
Me too. I'm excited for her.
She's a winner, and she makes lifts. But like now, Meg is just stronger.
Meg is a lot of crazy, man.
But at the moment, Meg is just a stronger lifter.
Yeah.
At the moment, also like Meg is like making newbie games. It's insane. Like she's just adding to her total so fast. I just want to see her break the world record that Corolla just set and break Corolla's bench world record and just own that weight class and then right off into the sunset or whatever, be a master lifter and raise those two girls to be the next greatest powerlifters and strongest moms in the world. All right. With that, we have really talked a lot. I've been awake for like 27 straight hours or something crazy. It's 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning here. I gotta go to sleep. I gotta go check out the gym here and see if it's still open for one of our kids in the group chat. But we'll go hit that up. But thank you to everyone who listens to Powerlifting America podcast. Thank you to everyone who jumped in here and asked questions or made comments. And I can almost for sure say that we're not gonna do Monday Night Live next week because there's 3 sessions a day for like the next 11 days at junior sub junior world championships. The Raw starts on, let's see, we have a junior preview show here. It starts the 27th through the 3rd.
Okay.
The 27th through the 3rd. Equipped starts the 24th through the 27th, and then Classic is also on the 27th and then through the 3rd. So, yeah, man.
I mean, maybe I could theoretically next Monday night, if we're able to get the software system set up, like do a Monday Night Live, which is a recap preview, like an actual recap of the first couple of days and then preview of like the next day or something like that.
Okay, let's see. We just said that was the 24th. Let me see. Is that a Monday?
Monday, I'm talking about Monday Monday would be the 28th. So it would be like after the second day. Yeah. But we'll work on timing later.
We'll work on it, but I can tell you right now, we will be going live on this YouTube channel every morning, which will be like super late the night before lifting for you guys back in the US. During the first session's weigh-ins, we'll be there doing a live pregame show. And then, so like Mike Gold for you, like that'll be like 1 a.m. or something. If you're still up, you can join us on that. Julia, that'll be like 11 p.m. your time. So if you want to join on that. And then we'll be doing post-competition press conferences at the end of every day here in Romania, which should be like pretty reasonable times for you guys. It should be like afternoon. Should be like around this time, basically like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something like that for you guys. So we'll be doing all that stuff live. If you're tuning in, you're hearing this, or you watch this after the fact, show up for those live press conferences, show up for those live pregame shows, ask questions, jump in. We're going to be asking the lifters, obviously, questions in the press conference. If you want to ask questions, we'll ask those questions for you. And then, yeah, maybe Monday after we wrap those press conferences, do a quick little Monday Night Live just to keep the streak alive. Maybe do like just a quick hour and recap what we've seen so far. And let Mike Gold and Julie Williams just take the mic and let me just sit back and kick it for like an hour and a half because I'll be here. I probably won't be sleeping anyway. So we should be good. All right. With that, again, thank you everyone who tunes into these. Super awesome. And make sure you subscribe to this so that you don't miss any of the stuff. Make sure you follow Powerlifting_America on Instagram. You'll always have all the updates for everything that we're doing. And thank you to Mike Gold and Julie Williams for all your amazing analysis, all your research. Julia is going to be dropping a couple of articles in the next few days. So thank you for doing that. Mike Gold also did research on those as well. So thank you both for all that hard work that you do. And make sure you tune in next time for Monday Night Live. With that, peace. We're out of here. All right. And don't say anything crazy because we still got a hot mic going here on the YouTube. I'm ending the stream now. So now all F-bombs. No, just joking.